Welcome back. It is the Arvo Flow Sports Hour, and it's time to talk a bit of basketball here on Flow FM. And joining me now is our basketball correspondent, Dan Crouch. Dan, great to have you on again. How you doing?
Good, mate. Good. Thanks for having me, as always. Good to be here.
I'm sure you're weary-eyed because it's just impossible to turn away from all the basketball going on right now, both in Australia and over in the States. We'll start over in America, Dan, and as I say, no shortage of games going on. We'll talk about the games from last night first. So just bring us in on the Bucks and the Celtics game. This went into overtime, a blockbuster clash. You certainly enjoyed watching. Tell us what your takeaways were from this one.
Yeah, blockbuster clash indeed. Interesting game. Went to overtime, like you said. Bucks managed to get the win in overtime, but Boston missing, resting some of their better players. So playing some of their second stringers. You had Blake Griffin starting at centre, who probably played the most minutes he's played in a game for a couple of years. A few sort of no-namers in the lineup for the Celtics there, but they've got such a well-drilled system, and everyone on the bench stays ready. So you can never count them out, even when the superstars, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, aren't playing. They managed to make it a contest behind Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon's play mostly. But the Bucks are one of the championship favourites for a reason. 36 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists from Giannis Antetokounmpo, 40 points from Drew Holiday. They're just they're stacked. They're very hard to beat. So for Boston to get as close as they did with that lineup was extremely impressive. But Milwaukee showed why they're one of the best teams in the whole competition.
All right, let's talk Phoenix Suns beating the Sacramento Kings. There's some trade deadline news that we're going to discuss after this result, but this game in particular really caught your eye as well, Dan.
It did. The Kings have been one of the surprise packets this year. They haven't made the playoffs in 17 years, I think it is, and they're looking like they're going to be one of the teams to beat in the playoffs this year, but Phoenix too good for them on this occasion. So as much as the Kings have been good, Phoenix, they went to the finals 2 years ago, and they look like they might be back there this year. They've finally back to being fully healthy, which they haven't been able to say for quite a while. They've got Devin Booker, their superstar, back in action after about 6 weeks out. Chris Paul, legendary point guard, 19 assists in this one. He's playing like living up to his nickname, the point god. He's playing really good basketball. And like you said, trade news. They've just traded for Kevin Durant, one of the best players of the last 20 years, arguably still the best scorer in the league. He's just an absolute freak, and he's come back from that Achilles tear a couple of years ago and has not missed a beat since then. So adding him, they are just going to be an unbelievably good team with that big four of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. And I can't wait to see how they fare when they've got that full lineup in. But, double-digit win over the Kings, even without Kevin Durant. They're going to be scary once he joins the team.
All right, Dan. Well, as I say, so many games coming our way thick and fast. How do things look going into the next few weeks for you? Who's going to stand out across both the East and West conferences?
Yeah, well, we're going into the All-Star break this weekend. So I think usually that's obviously we have the All-Star game, slam dunk contest, etc. And all the players get a few days off after that to recharge. And then, you're right, it really gets into the business end of things. And now that the trade deadline's passed, the rosters are looking pretty much finalised. And, it's really getting into the business end. So we'll see who can claim the crown. I think Denver still sitting on top of the West are looking really good. But Phoenix with Kevin Durant in the fold now, I think they're definitely the team to beat out West. The Lakers, they've been a conversation all season. They're 2.5 games out of the playoff picture at the moment, with not a whole lot of time to get themselves back in, but they made some moves at the trade deadline too, bringing in D'Angelo Russell and Mo Bamba as well. So D'Angelo Russell in for Russell Westbrook. Westbrook might be a bit of addition by subtraction there, getting him out. Might be a better player than D'Angelo Russell, but wasn't a good fit on the Lakers. And they've got someone who can actually hit a jump shot now. So going to be really interesting to see if they can get their way in. But, I think Phoenix, the team to beat there. And in the East, Boston and Milwaukee, we just spoke about them. Easily the two teams to beat there, but Philadelphia not far behind them with their superstar duo of Joel Embiid and James Harden.
Games still to come over the next 24 hours in the NBA. We've got the Bulls and the Bucks going at it. The Timberwolves and the Wizards will also lock horns, as well as the Suns and the Clippers. And we've also got the NBA All-Star game between Team LeBron and Team Giannis, which we'll be talking about with you next week, Dan. We've then got on Friday a number of games also happening. The Pacers and Celtics going at it. The Magic and Pistons will also play. The Raptors will host the Pelicans. The Mavericks are at home to the Spurs. The Trailblazers will travel to the Kings. And we've also got the Lakers at home to the Warriors. That'll be a huge one, as well as the Jazz and Thunder going at it, and the 76ers in action against the Grizzlies. And the Cleveland Cavaliers will also host the Denver Nuggets. Dan, let's switch our attention to the NBL. We're right at the business end of the season. We've got these play-in tournaments happening right now, and we had some action last night. But to be honest with you, it looks like there's only one team that's really going to go on and win this, and it is the current champions. But you just never know as well. So, Dan, just give us a rundown on how things are looking in the NBL as we look ahead to the big dance.
Yeah, so we had the Taipans last night narrowly going down to the Kings, and I mean it was looking pretty good for the Taipans until halftime. They had a 9-point lead at halftime. They had I think they had 57 points on the board at halftime, and they only managed to score 28 in the second half. Sydney, the defending champs, the team to beat. They've got the MVP in Xavier Cooks, and they flexed their muscles last night, and they showed why. So it'll be a must-win for the Taipans in their next game. And in the other series, the Jack Jumpers, quite frankly, they got done in that last game. I think they went down. I think it was 20 points, so they'll be looking to bounce back as well. But I mean, that's the beauty of a best of playoff series. It's not just one bad game and you're out. You get a chance to bounce back and regroup and assess your opponent a bit more. So you're never out until you're out. So good chance for them to bounce back against the Breakers tonight. And we'll see how they go. But the Breakers are on a good little win streak, so they're going to be very tough to beat.
Can anyone beat the Sydney Kings, though, Dan, in all honesty? I know you're going to give your best impartial media practitioner answer to this, but it just doesn't seem like anyone's going to get near them, in all honesty.
No, like I said, they're flexing their muscles. They're looking very, very strong. I think that the Breakers are looking pretty good as well, though. I think that could be a potential final series there. But I wouldn't be putting any money against the Kings right at this moment, that's for sure. They're definitely looking like the team to beat, but that's why the game's not played on paper. We've got to wait and see how it plays out, and we'll see if anyone can topple them. But they're the reigning champs for a reason.
That's where we'll leave it. Dan Crouch is our man on the ground when it comes to all things basketball here on the Arvo Flow Sports Hour. We'll speak to you again next week, Dan. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ellis. Chat to you then.